So those two presentations were amazingly smart, and if you guys are hoping for that from me, you're going to be disappointed. In luce est veritas, in light there is truth. I'm here to talk to you guys about the committee. We'll get into that in a minute. Let's see. Perfect. All right. This is my name, Matt Kowalski. If you scan that QR code, it takes you to all my socials. A few of you might know me from YouTube or LinkedIn. Yeah, like you said, I have a company called K&K Laser Scanning, also Lightaholics Consulting. I also write for XYHT Magazine and LiDAR News. Pretty active in the community of reality capture and laser scanning. I'm also halfway convinced at this point that a month ago when Mike Olson called me and asked me if I wanted to fill in for someone who dropped out, that he was giving you guys a brain break. So, all right, so the committee. Everybody always says, what committee, when I say the committee. We didn't want to limit ourselves, so we just became the committee, which is sort of like the authority in the John Wick movies, except I don't think we're bad guys or sheiks in the desert. All right, so where we started. Any of you guys go to Geo Week? All right, so we started under the umbrella of the United States Institute of Building Documentation, USIBD. Basically, the premise was we wanted to know which sensors in reality capture actually provided the level of detail that were required for different projects. You may have seen a few of our presentations or our scanner shootouts or our panel discussions. We've been there several years running now. Here's one of our scanner shootouts. This was 2 years ago, where we had terrestrial laser scanners set up at different distances from material boards and see how they reacted to different materials, shiny, all kinds of different materials. Last year we had 19 different sensors. We had terrestrial and SLAM scanners, and instead of having these, we had them scan the entire conference center, which if you guys saw that conference center, it was a great example because all the baseboards were reflective material, and then you had, I don't know if any of you guys saw the black and white tile wall. That was a whole hallway. Oh, that was fun for scanners. So we've since moved away from the USIBD because in talking to industry professionals, we realized we weren't alone in wanting to test these scanners and figure out things for the entire industry or multiple industries. So we've since branched out to, I guess, who we are now. We are a group of individuals from building construction, multimedia and production, forestry, obviously land surveying and geomatics, and public utilities, educators, and a lot of other industry professionals. We're all working towards a goal of solving current issues in the reality capture and UAS industry. We started out with TLS, we moved into SLAM. One of our next competitions or comparisons, thank you, is going to be UAS. So it begs the question, what are the biggest issues in reality capture? Now, you guys might have other issues than what I'm going to suggest, and I would love to hear them eventually because we can only solve the solution or solve the problems that we see. Lack of clarity with hardware. Anybody try to compare one unit to the other just by what a manufacturer releases on their data? We talk about bang your head against the wall, right? So that was the origin of the scanner shootouts with the TLSs, right? We wanted to see how they compared to each other. What I see in the UAS industry, and I'm a 107 pilot, but I'm by no means an expert in UAV, UAS. I see a lot of the same components thrown together in a different configuration, and they say their algorithm is the big difference, right? So, Inertial Labs makes a lot of the IMUs that we use across a lot of the different sensors. So how much does that algorithm play? As far as I know, most of them use either a Hesai or a Velodyne, right? So how do those compare against each other? We just want to start exploring these things, and we'll get into how we're testing here in a minute. The second big one is the overpromise, underdeliver in software. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've noticed for a long time whenever I see a demo online, typically if that company comes and does a demo for me in person, it's going to be the same data set, right? They're all going to perform But they're all going to show up with a data set they know works, show you the tools that you want to see, and then move out. You buy the software, and then it doesn't work the way it was because that was a perfect data set, right? So, I mean, when I did a little stint in the dark side of things as a salesperson, right? I always showed up and I scanned that person's job site, and then we got to deliverable together. We want to do that in mass, and part of the reason we moved away from the USIBD is they wanted to charge you for the access to what we were finding, right? So if you wanted to find out any of those GeoWeek results, you had to buy it from the USIBD. The committee believes it should be accessible to all of you, right, without a charge. And then the last one is maybe I hit too many buttons here. Lack of accreditation. Now, we don't want to take anything away from any colleges or other institutions, but there is in the reality capture industry a lot of companies, construction companies, other people doing reality capture. Also, I think it's going to be a 68% growth industry over the next 5 years. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but every time I get on LinkedIn, I see another reality capture expert who was a barista last year. Or not to take anything away from baristas, I think we all can learn, but I foresee a lot of companies trying to get into reality capture. They're going to trust an expert, and then they're going to get burnt, and then they're going to write it off, right? I mean, we all know that surveyor that still refuses to use a robotic total station because it burnt them when they first tried it, right? Surveyors, I love you guys, but you guys are quick to write something off, and construction guys aren't bad either. They'll write something off real quick. So, how are we solving these? So, the committee has 3 main subcommittees, right? First one being the education subcommittee is sort of a passion project of mine. We're working with educators to build a certification program that they can stand behind, right? I don't want something that's that the industry doesn't trust. So it has to have the backing of people like Mike Olson and people from SAIT and other people in the industry that are trusted. And then student participation. This is a big one for me. I want students from these education programs to come and participate at these testing events to the point where I wouldn't mind them helping devise the testing methods, right? And then helping us process the data. Having them show up to events like GeoWeek and events like this helps them in their career with getting an early start on networking. They get to spend time with industry professionals that are part of the committee, but also at these events. That's why there's another one towards the testing, right? So the testing subcommittee, one of the main things they're going to watch is the new technology, Gaussian splats, different new sensors, right? And they're going to wait till they're mature enough for us to test them. We don't want to chase fads, but we don't want to fall behind either, right? And these are things that I think individual companies can't really keep up with. Like they were saying during the keynote earlier, every 6 months there's a new technology, right? I don't know any company out there besides some big ones that have the resources to keep up with these changes, right? Whereas we as a group of industry professionals can keep up with those together. And then they'll set the guidelines for these testings, right? And they'll work with the students to put the test together. And every test will be different, obviously, because we're going to be looking at different things. What we are going to keep on pushing, and this is where there's going to be a call to action at the end of this, so stay with me. And then the reporting, obviously, is going to be at shows like this, where we'll show up and we'll share our findings, industry events, but also just available on the websites, right? We want them just out there for everybody to use. One of the things that we did wrong before is we had the manufacturers pay to participate. Well, the problem with that is they have a vested interest now, right? So they are going to tell you what you can and can't produce on your report. It doesn't really stay with in luce est veritas, right? We want the truth. We want to shine light on the industry. So we're hoping that the certification program will fund these events. It's almost a full circle. All right. Have I gone really fast through this? How are we on time?
Oh, yeah, you have 9 minutes.
Sweet. Like I said, I always talk fast when I present. All right, so, am I just pointing at the wrong thing here? All right, so why am I telling you guys about this? We understand that you can't change an industry without the support of an industry. So we're always searching for industry professionals that care about making a positive change and helping out, you know. So we're asking for you guys to participate. So what does it cost? Nothing, just time right now. Now, maybe someday, I'm part of the American Concrete Institute and a few other committees where I pay a membership. But this one, all we want is your time and input, right? How can you help? So start with input. I mean, you could send an email. Say, hey, this is what I see. This is how I want to change it. Participation would be key, though. That's one of the big things that we're pushing for is we want everybody brought in to help out. And then conversations. We're still building it right now, but, you know, if you ever hear someone talking about it, mention, hey, the committee is working on that, you know. And that's why I'm talking to you guys about it today. All right, so I zoomed through that. That's the entire presentation.